So how do you determine a return on marketing investment? Hey, it's Scott Beebe with Business on Purpose. A delight to be with you to help you try to liberate yourself from the chaos of working in your business. Before we dive in, make sure to subscribe on YouTube and also go subscribe on our podcast, the My Business on Purpose podcast. So we were in a conversation, and the response that I had to this one particular person had to this question was simply, ugh. That was a direct quote from this particular client. And as we were talking about it, the question that I mentioned to them was simply, how's your marketing going? And so when they got back to me, they were like, ugh, I don't want to talk about it. And so I want to tell you that this recording is as much encouragement to marketing support service businesses as it is a call to action for business owners who are frustrated with trying to determine their return on marketing investment. The barrier to entry, if you think about this, and I'm putting ourselves in this category, the barrier to entry is about the same for palm readers, business coaches, right? And marketing service providers. It's not very high. Just about anybody can hang a shingle and call themselves a marketing agency. Now, there's a lot of good ones out there. That loose availability of the definition does not mean there's not significant value to be found in a well-run agency. Of course there is. So how much should you spend as a marketing investment? And for goodness sake, how do you realize a return on that marketing investment? That's what we've got to start looking at and start figuring out over and over and over again on great repetition. So let's first discuss how much to invest in marketing in the first place. Your planning and delivering of marketing in your business should be as intentional and well thought out as other things like product development, product delivery, hiring, accounting, sales, all of the other systems in your business. We should be thinking with that level of intentionality in marketing as well. Resources have got to be spent on marketing. In fact, the definition of marketing is not limited to just advertising and promotion. And the same intentionality is resources that we spend on things like employee compensation. So that level of intentionality that's spent on marketing, it needs to be the same as we spend on product and service delivery, insurance coverage, hiring, compensation. I was in conversation with a marketing agency owner recently, and I asked, how much should a small business invest in their marketing? Now, their response was pretty straightforward and honest. He just said, it depends. He went to provide a range that I thought was actually really helpful. 3% of gross revenue, that's total income minus your cost of goods. 3% of gross revenue would be a low marketing spend, whereas maybe around 12 or 13% of gross revenue would be an aggressive marketing spend. So then the question becomes, well, what do we invest our marketing resources into? It's an important mind shift in understanding that marketing is not just a cross your fingers, hope for the best, haphazard shot in the dark. Instead, we like to say it around here, marketing is a system. Just like the conglomeration of all the bones in your body combine together to form the skeletal system, and that system works in calculation and coordination, so all the conglomeration of promotional elements in your business work to form the marketing system. I like to think of marketing in terms of channels or canals. You have a channel of social media. You have a channel of your website. You have a channel of live events. You have a channel of advertising. Or we've got a channel of podcasts, the My Business on Purpose podcast or the Business on Purpose YouTube channel. It's this canal. Each channel or canal provides a connection point for you to connect with your potential or actual client or customer. So the most overlooked and yet perennially most effective form of marketing for just about every business on earth, even your business, is really quite old-fashioned. It's word of mouth. Yes, word of mouth marketing is a channel. It's a canal. It's where two people can connect, and it's probably the most trafficked canal in your business. So there are three things that you can do with your marketing system and the channels that combine to collectively share your mission with a targeted world. Let's look at those three things. First, we've got to learn to map out the exact channels that should exist in your marketing system and turn a blind eye to the channels that are distractions. All of your friends may be seeing great success with a certain social media platform. You might even hear a podcaster or a YouTuber say, hey, you've got to be on Mashblot. By the way, I just made that up. It's a fictitious social media channel. Well, the reality is, no, you don't. You don't have to be on anything. What you should do is invest in channels where your target client or your customer is paying attention to. If your target client or your existing client is running that canal, is running that channel, that's a channel you need to be in. Maybe you don't need to be spending as much time, energy, effort, resources on those other channels. If they're not looking at Mashblot, maybe best to bypass that channel and go to a canal where they already are. For some, you may not need to be on social media at all. We coach a lot of contractors who are far better served to set up 2 lunches per week with vendors, general contractors, architects, and developers instead of trying to generate leads on Facebook, YouTube, or whatever the platform du jour. So what channels or canals are your clients paying attention to? What canals are they running up and down? Map those out. Second, create a process to nurture and educate that channel. You can ask a simple question. Hey, what's the end game of us putting time, energy, and effort? For instance, your social media, what's the end game? Your in-person lunches, what's the end game? For your website, what's the end game? Is it just an online brochure, or is it a 24/7 salesperson? Our coaches spend a significant amount of time face-to-face with business owners. So over lunch or coffee, our end game is to coach. When a non-client reaches out to us to, quote, learn more, we try to spend less time talking about the features and benefits of our deliverables and instead actually coach them during that time. Even if they don't hire us, we want them to experience what coaching looks like, feels like, and what the outcome is. It allows our client to get a feel for our actual coaching and to elevate their need for that transformation, that liberation, that freedom that they're looking for. That's our end game. Coach well and allow the business owner to experience freedom directly. So for us, our website, our social media channels, the My Business on Purpose podcast, the live events, they all exist to facilitate an in-person or virtual meeting where we can coach in real life and understand the reality of a particular business owner. Once you have your specific and finite channels, each channel must have a process all aimed towards an end goal. Thirdly, you got to do the work and track. Marketing is often characterized by a flowing group of artistic free thinkers, and instead, it's both art and science. Certainly, marketing requires ongoing creativity, and then it gets packaged up into a system for repetition. Free thinking by design is not repetition. It's not meant to be. That's where ideas come from, and yet marketing demands consistency and repetition. Business owners must know that in order to market well, you must harness that ideation of free thinking and then do the work. For example, each one of our coaches writes that 1 article per week between 500 and 800 words every single week. Now, our coaches are not journalists. They're not career writers. They're business coaches. Yet the repetitious work of marketing requires content, and content requires writing. Writing for our coaches is a time for each to reflect back on the questions and challenges their clients have faced the week prior, just like I'm doing right now. Once written, we then turn that content into blog posts, LinkedIn articles, a podcast episode, a YouTube episode, and sometimes even a keynote talk at a live event, all from that one article. When the channels are mapped, the processes are spelled out, and the work is being produced with repetition, you can then do the important work of tracking your progress. Each week, we record metrics on a simple client spreadsheet. Marketing has been billed of late more as a Vegas-style luck of inserting $1 into a machine and getting $2 out, instead of blending of art and science, free thinking and repetition. Marketing is a whole lot more than hoping just to simply hit jackpot on the simple pull of a lever. And it's work worth doing. It's work that you can uncover. You can go find real return on your marketing investment. Hey, while you're at it, make sure to go check out BOP Webinar. Our latest webinars are always located there, bopwebinar.com. It's bopwebinar.com. And while you're at it, subscribe to our YouTube channel and our podcast so that you can be liberated from business chaos. We'll see you next time right here on the Business on Purpose podcast, YouTube channel, and platform.